Yes, good morning, students. So I hope you have at least gone through the terms which I shared with you yesterday in your class groups, because it is important. If you will not follow the things regularly, the things will not go into your mind then. Okay. So we were I was telling you the advantages of sexual reproduction. I hope all of you have your books with you. So I was telling you that why the sexual mode of reproduction is important, because we have studied asexual reproduction also. Okay, just wait, I have to do some settings for you people. I know how to deal with. Okay, so where it is, yes, on page number 133 in your NCRT book. So I was telling you that why sexual mode of reproduction, because it gives us lot of options of variations, because the DNAs are coming from two different individuals here, that is the male cell and the female cell. So first, this is there, that importance of variation. So you know, as I've already told you, that how variations are important. It leads us to adapt in the changing environment. You know that the environment is changing now. It was not as earlier that if you compare the time to the earlier times, that winters were coming on time, summers were coming on time. So the nature cycle was going on according to the time. But now there are sudden changes in the environment for which we have to adapt to them. So for that we need to have some more variants, more variations we need to have, so that the coming generations are able to adapt to the changing environment. You can take the example that earlier the small children were there, they were not so fast in learning the computers and managing the phones. But now if you give the phone to the small child, then she or she will learn in just 1 or 2 days, and they are so fast, they are playing games and so much. But we were not like that. So why is it so? So you can say that there is a change in the gene expression, means the genes are changing, means you can say that smart parents are producing smart babies. So that means the environment is changing. The in the coming, you never know that in the coming 50 years, in the next 50 years, what kind of environment would be there. So that's why more and more variations are always good to adapt to the changing environment. Earlier, we were not so fast in learning so many things. Okay, so it depends on the persons, that what kind of genes are coming. So here there are more options of variations because two parents are involved. So first paragraph on page 133, it tells you this only, that there is importance of variation, and if these reproductive modes, that DNA is coming from two different individuals, so there is more scope of variation. And in the second paragraph they are saying, as I've told you earlier also, कि जो DNA copying mechanism होता है, is it not always correct? हमेशा means there are some errors in DNA copying, and that errors are called mutations. So that errors are happening, but it is not so fast. वो इतने ज़्यादा level big level पे नहीं है that they will be expressed. For example, if you see that if you go to homeopathic doctor, they always ask you that if there is any disorder in your generations, in your previous generations, कि कोई blood का disorder तो नहीं था. So that is linked because of our genes. We are getting genes from our ancestors. If grandfathers are there, they उनके DNA में भी कुछ variations थे, but they were expressed or not, that depends on the gene expression. Gene expression is a different process which we will study in the next chapter, कि कुछ genes dominant होते हैं जो express कर जाते हैं, and कुछ recessive होते हैं, they are not able to express themselves. So it can happen कि अगर grandfather को diabetes है, so not necessary कि father को भी होगी या नहीं. So it can come in father, it cannot come in father, and if it can happen like this that ग्रैंडफादर को डायबिटीज है, सो ग्रैंड चिल्ड्रन में डायबिटीज आ जाती है, फादर को हुई नहीं. सो व्हाई इज दैट सो कि कुछ जनरेशंस में वो एक्सप्रेस हो जाती है, कुछ जनरेशंस में एक्सप्रेस नहीं होती है, बिकॉज एवरी जनरेशन विच इज कमिंग दैट हैज वेरिएशंस इन देम. वो वेरिएशंस कई बार एक्सप्रेस होती हैं, कई बार नहीं होती हैं. सो दे आर सेइंग कि जो डीएनए कॉपिंग मैकेनिज्म्स हैं दैट आर नॉट एब्सोल्युटली एक्यूरेट. आई टोल्ड यू देयर आर एरर दैट इज कॉल्ड म्यूटेशंस एंड दैट लीड टू वेरिएशंस, but that is a fairly slow process. बहुत slow process होती है. Means if there is a change in the genes, if there is a change in the DNA copying, so जो gene के sequence में जो changes आते हैं, it is not always expressed and it is a very slow process. अगर हमारे इतने सारे genes में अगर छोटी सी genes में कोई disorder आ गया, कोई defect आ गया है, so that will not be able to change the functioning of the body. It can, it cannot be. So you can say कि जो variations आ रही हैं वो चलती आ रही हैं. ग्रैंडफादर में भी variations थी, then फादर में variations आई, हम में variations आई, then in the next generations variations will be there. So वो जो variations हैं that are accumulating inside ourselves, वो accumulate होती जा रही हैं, and that accumulated variations can express or cannot express, but it is a, you can say it is a slow process. It is a slow process, but in this sexual mode of reproduction there are more chances that these changes can be expressed. Variations जो होती हैं that can lead to more adaptability to the changing environment and new combinations of variants we can get. New combinations of variants, because if there is one male and if uske genes mein variations hai, uske DNA mein variations hai, and it will mate with female, so then both will male and female gamete will fuse together and they will produce new combination of variants which will be all new, you can say. Means एक all new combination of variants will come. So there it is a generation and it is coming from the ancestors that variations in DNA, that sometimes they are expressed and sometimes they are not. So this was there in the second paragraph, and they say that जो ये वेरिएशंस होती हैं दे आर इन लिविंग इंडिविजुअल्स, बिकॉज लिविंग ऑर्गेनिजम्स में ही वेरिएशंस आई हैं. सो दे आर नॉट रियली बैड, दे आर नॉट, दे डोंट हैव एनी बैड इफेक्ट्स. देन व्हाट हैपन, okay, so now they say that this creates a major difficulty. I told you on page 134 it is there, the third line you see in your book. सो ये बोल रहे हैं कि ठीक है, अगर डीएनए कॉपी हो रहा है हर जनरेशन में, सो इट कैन लीड टू डबलिंग ऑफ डीएनए. उससे क्या होगा कि डीएनए तो डबल होता जाएगा हर जनरेशन में. मींस इफ वन पेरेंट हैज 46 क्रोमोसोम्स, if male has 46 chromosomes and female also has 46 chromosomes, अगर उसका जो zygote बनेगा after the fusion, so that will have 46 plus 46, how many double amount of DNA will be there. उसकी डबल हो गई. अब सेकेंड जनरेशन में अगेन by the fusion of gametes, again it will be doubled. So what will happen, so अगर DNA copy में जो DNA के amount है वो double होती जाएगी. See, look here in this diagram, in this flow chart, this is shown, this is an imaginary situation. ठीक है, ये रियल में ऐसा हो नहीं रहा है. This is an imaginary situation कि अगर DNA copy होता जाएगा हर जनरेशन में. You see, this is first generation, second generation and third generation. अगर फर्स्ट जनरेशन में मेल और फीमेल में 46 क्रोमोसोम्स हैं, दोनों गैमीट बना रहे हैं. इसका गैमीट में भी 46 क्रोमोसोम्स हैं, इसके गैमीट में भी, फीमेल गैमीट में भी 46 क्रोमोसोम्स हैं. They both will fuse together and they will form double the amount of chromosomes. Again they will form male gamete and again it will mate with female gamete. So again there will be doubling of chromosomes. So ऐसा तो भाई हर जनरेशन में डबल होता जाएगा. And what will happen if it will happen like this? So you know that DNA is present in the nucleus of the cell, and if it will happen like this कि हर जनरेशन में जो DNA है वो डबल होता जाएगा, then there will be no space for the other cell organelles in the cell. जो बाकी सेल ऑर्गेनल्स हैं जैसे माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया, गोल्गी, राइबोसोम, so many are there. So there would be no space left for the other cell organelles and only DNA will be there in the cell. So then what will happen? Obviously you know that if any amount thing is in excess, So that will create malfunctioning. So that will mess up the control. So it is written here, it is there in your book also, that it will mess up the control of the cellular apparatus by the DNA. अगर हमारा DNA double होता जाएगा, and if each generation doubles its DNA, a situation will arise when the amount of DNA will not be accommodated inside the cell. ऐसी सिचुएशन आ जाएगी कि जो डीएनए है वो सेल के अंदर फिट ही नहीं हो पाएगा, इतना ज्यादा वो हर जनरेशन में डबल होता जाएगा, एंड देयर विल बी नो अदर सेल apparatus, एंड अ टाइम विल कम दैट ओनली डीएनए ऑन अर्थ एंड नो रूम फॉर एनीथिंग एल्स, कि सिर्फ दुनिया में डीएनए दिखेगा, ह्यूमन बींग्स तो दिखेंगे नहीं. यू विल जस्ट सी अ स्पाइरल स्ट्रक्चर मूविंग ऑल अराउंड. बट see, this is an imaginary situation. So this is in the case if there were no meiosis. So nature has solved this problem. कि ऐसा हो तो नहीं रहा है ना, we are talking of the situation which is not there. So why it is not there? Because it has a reason that nature has solved the problem by creating a special kind of cell division during the formation of gametes. So what is that special kind of cell division? That is called meiosis. I told you in the very beginning that जो germ cells में जो cell division होती है, that is called meiosis, and that leads to half the number of chromosomes. कि जो parent में है, अगर एक male germ cell में 46 chromosomes हैं, it will form a gamete that will be haploid and it will contain only 23 chromosomes. So nature has solved. Please mute yourself. Bhupinder sir, please do the setting. Don't allow them to unmute. Okay. So nature has solved the problem. Nature ने इस problem को solve किया है by creating a special kind of cell division during the formation of gametes, and this cell division is called meiosis, or it is also called reduction division, because the number of chromosomes are getting reduced to half. So during meiosis, the chromosome number or DNA content of the parents becomes half in their gametes. So this is happening when there is meiosis. So earlier I showed you the diagram when there was no meiosis, there was doubling of the DNA in every generation. But now here meiosis is there, so you can see that if meiosis is there, you can see a constant number of 2n diploid cell is there in every generation. So first generation 2n, that is diploid germ cell is there. It is undergoing meiosis and it is forming a male gamete that contains only 23 chromosomes. Means एक germ cell जो diploid है जिसमें 46 chromosomes हैं, it will undergo meiosis, और meiosis के बाद जो male gamete form होगा, that will be haploid. Male gamete will be haploid, that means it contains only 23 chromosomes. And same way जो female है, female का germ cell है, that is initially it is diploid, but after undergoing meiosis it will form a haploid gamete, haploid female gamete that will contain only 23 chromosomes. And now they can fuse together. So now male and female gamete which are haploid means they only contain 23 chromosomes in each. They both will fuse together by the process of fertilization, and they will again form 2n, the zygote. So the zygote which will be formed, that is a fertilized cell. So that will be again diploid. So this is the new individual which is forming. Again this new individual, so that will again undergo meiosis and it will form the haploid gamete. So again it will fuse with another female gamete that is also haploid. Again third generation will also contain 46 chromosomes. So this is why? Because of the process of meiosis, it is happening that the DNA content is not getting doubled in all the generations. First generations also 46 chromosomes, second generation also 46 chromosomes, third generation also 46 chromosomes only. That is only because of this meiosis process. So you can say that we are blessed to have this meiosis process. Otherwise, only means so much amount of DNA would be there that it would be very difficult to handle. Okay, then so see on page 134, the third paragraph. Just wait. So the third paragraph on page number 134 it says कि अगर एक zygote बन रहा है, ठीक है? Why it is not moving? Okay. Okay. Yes. So the third paragraph says कि अगर एक zygote है, see it is written in your book, third paragraph, if the zygote is to grow and develop into an organism. I told you that zygote formation is there, that is diploid. Now it has to grow and develop into an organism, so which has highly specialized tissues and organs. So then it has to have sufficient stores of energy for doing this. कि उसको एक sufficient energy भी तो चाहिए to grow and to grow into new offspring. So that it happens in the case of simple organisms. Simple organisms में क्या होता है, which are bisexual. We are talking about simple organisms that are showing asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction में bisexual होते हैं, means male and female germ cell, they are inside one body only, one parent body only. So उनमें क्या होता है, they are saying that germ cells are not very different from another or maybe even similar, but as the body designs become more complex, the germ cells also specialize. One germ cell is large. I'm telling you, in the case of asexual reproduction, they have given one paragraph for that also, कि अगर zygote को grow करना है to fully mature offspring, so it has to has एनर्जी, उसको एनर्जी कहाँ से मिलती है? सो एसेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन में जो जर्म सेल्स होते हैं, फीमेल एंड मेल जर्म सेल आर इनसाइड वन बॉडी ओनली. सो कैसे वो डिफरेंशिएट होते हैं? सो वन जर्म सेल इज लार्ज and contains the food stores while the other is smaller and likely to be motile. Motile means moving, those who can move. So the motile germ cell is called male gamete. जो मूव करेगा वो मेल गेमीट है, एंड द जर्म सेल कंटेनिंग द स्टोर्ड फूड इज कॉल्ड द फीमेल गेमीट. सो लोअर ऑर्गेनिजम्स में, सिंपल ऑर्गेनिजम्स में मेल एंड फीमेल जर्म सेल्स आर प्रेजेंट इन वन ऑर्गेनिज्म ओनली. जो मेल germ cell hai, that is motile, and जो female germ cell hai, that is differentiated. It can help in storing the food for the growing zygote. So that is the germ cell containing the stored food is called the female gamete. So it can be asked that asexual reproduction in the bisexual organisms, how are germ cells differentiated? So you can say that there are two germ cells. One germ cell becomes male germ cell, which is motile, and the second germ cell, it becomes the female germ cells, which provide food for the growing zygote. Clear? So this was the introduction part. So I think I showed you this one yesterday or not? Okay, let's just see it once again. So this is again the conclusion of all what we have read, that why meiosis is important. So male germ cell 2n means it is diploid. Female germ cell, it is 2n means it is also diploid. So germ cells are also initially diploid. I told you कि जो somatic cells होते हैं वो सारे diploid होते हैं, means they contain 46 chromosomes. But germ cells initially they are diploid. They contain 46 chromosomes, but only difference is that germ cells, they show meiosis process. They divide by meiosis. So they undergo meiosis and they form male gamete, which is N now. So now it has become haploid. Diploid germ cell undergo meiosis and it forms haploid male gamete, which contains only 23 chromosomes. Same way in female germ cell, which is diploid and contains 46 chromosomes, undergoes meiosis and it forms female gamete, which is haploid, that contains only 23 chromosomes, and they both fuse together. The process is called fertilization, and the resulting thing is zygote. What is zygote? Zygote is a fertilized ovum. Ovum is female egg cell. So a fertilized female egg cell is called zygote, and this is also diploid. Okay, and this zygote develops into embryo, that is fetus. So that grows inside the mother's womb. Then it becomes a fully mature baby. So first zygote formation is there, and then the series of differentiation is there. बहुत लंबा period होता है, 9 months का gestation period होता है. So then it develops into a fully mature baby. So initially there is production of zygote, which is produced by the fertilization of the male and the female gamete, which are haploid. Clear? So this there should be clarity of the thing first. Then you should go in the details. So first we have to study sexual reproduction in plants. It is there in your book on page number 134. So first, before studying about the reproduction in flower का मतलब क्या है? If you generally talk about कि एक flower जो है वो fruit कैसे बनता है? एक फ्लावर you have seen on the plants, जैसे अब जो फ्रूट प्लांट्स होते हैं उसमें पहले फ्लावर्स आते हैं, फ्लावर्स के बाद में फ्रूट्स बनते हैं, ठीक है. सो वो जो प्रोसेस है, दैट प्रोसेस ऑफ फ्लावर टू द फ्रूट्स, दैट इज कॉल्ड द रिप्रोडक्शन इन फ्लावर्स. कि फ्लावर्स कैसे फ्रूट्स बनते हैं और फ्रूट्स के अंदर जो सीड्स होती हैं वो सीड्स कैसे बनती हैं, और सीड्स के अंदर क्या होता है कि अगर हम सीड्स को सोइल में सो करते हैं सो न्यू प्लांट्स कम. So that is we are going to study sexual reproduction in plants कि एक flower में से कैसे fruit बनता है, ठीक है. So first of all you should know the parts of the flower, very important. So you have studied this in the previous classes also. Listen to it very carefully. Little confusing it can be, the parts of the flower. So you need to have self-reading for this after the class. So I'm telling you the parts of the flower. You have already studied in the lower classes also. So see, first is sepal. Sepal is the green leaves which are there at the base of the flower. ठीक है. इनका क्या होता है function? They are protective. फंक्शनल आई टेल यू लेटर, सिर्फ पार्ट्स देखो पहले, ठीक है. ये होते हैं सेपल्स, द ग्रीन कलर्ड, एंड दीज सेपल्स आर आल्सो कॉल्ड कैलिक्स. हम 8 लोअर क्लासेस में पढ़ते आए हैं सेपल्स, पेटल्स, स्टेमन्स, पिस्टल, बट नाउ वी आर इन 10th स्टैंडर्ड, सो वी नीड टू नो सम मोर साइंटिफिक टर्म्स कि हम इनको साइंटिफिक लैंग्वेज में क्या बोलते हैं. और सो सेपल्स आर आल्सो कॉल्ड कैलिक्स. क्लियर? Sepals, which are green in color at the base of the flower, they are also called calyx. And petals, petals which are brightly colored, so they are also called corolla. करेला नहीं बोलना है, ठीक है, करेला नहीं है, it's corolla. So petals are also called corolla. So these both, calyx and corolla, they are together known as perianth. Again I'm repeating, sepals are the green colored leaves which are present at the base of the flower, and petals you know which are the brightly colored ones. So sepals are called calyx and petals are also called corolla. So these both are known as perianth. So these two are known as the non-essential parts of the flower, though they are essential, but they are not involved directly in the reproduction of the flower. That we will study later what happens. So now see, this center part is the main part of the reproduction in flowers, in plants. So what is this? You know that these are stamens. ठीक है, ये जो these stamens are present, they are large in number, काफी सारी होती है flowers में. So you must have seen, कई बार आप flowers को हाथ लगाते हो तो that yellowish powder comes on your hands. Yellowish color का powder आपके हाथों पे लग जाता है. So that are pollen grains. ठीक है, that is the male reproductive part you can say, which are responsible for the reproduction in plants. So where are they produced? So first of all, stamens are these long stalk like structures. So stamen का अगर further differentiate करें, so these on the top you can see these lobules, these small lobules are there on the top. These are called anther, and this stalk is called filament. So stamen is comprised of anther and filament, and this is the male reproductive part of the flower, and we also call it androecium. So what do we call it? We call it androecium also. Androecium is the male reproductive part of the flower. So androecium क्या है? Androecium is stamen. स्टेमन क्या है? स्टेमन इज कंप्राइज्ड ऑफ एंथर एंड फिलामेंट्स, जो एंथर में बनते हैं पोलन ग्रेन्स. ठीक है, पोलन ग्रेन्स आर द मेन थिंग्स यू कैन से व्हिच आर रिस्पांसिबल फॉर द रिप्रोडक्शन. सो वो बनते हैं एंथर में. सो ये जो है, दिस स्टेमन इज अ मेल रिप्रोडक्टिव पार्ट. नाउ यू कैन लुक एट द सेंटर, ये जो बड़ा सा पार्ट है, द बिग पार्ट, दिस इज कॉल्ड द फीमेल रिप्रोडक्टिव पार्ट ऑफ द फ्लावर. इसको हम बोलते हैं फीमेल रिप्रोडक्टिव पार्ट, एंड दिस इज डिवाइडेड इनटू 3 पार्ट्स. द टॉप मोस्ट स्टिग्मा, and lower to that style, and the swollen part at the base is called ovary. Again I'm repeating, stigma, style and ovary. So these 3 together they are called pistil, and we have studied this pistil or carpel also we call it. And in more advanced language you can say these are called gynoecium. So androecium is a male reproductive part, that is stamen, which consists of anther and filaments. Gynoecium is a female reproductive part, also known as pistil or carpel, consists of three parts which are located in the center, that is stigma, style, and ovary. So we have to give main focus on these two parts: male reproductive part, stamen; female reproductive part, pistil or carpel. Androecium and gynoecium. Androecium is the male part, gynoecium is the female part. I hope it is clear. Now see, so we have two types of plants. दो type के plants होते हैं, flowering plants and non-flowering plants. Flowering plants which bear flowers, that are called angiosperms. ठीक है, उनको हम angiosperms बोलते हैं flowering plants को, and non-flowering plants are known as gymnosperms. Now look at the parts of the flower. I told you calyx. What is calyx? Calyx are the outermost whorl of floral leaves called sepals. Sepals होते हैं, they are green in color and they are protective in function, means they protect the flower when it is a bud. And corolla is a collection of petals that is large, showy, and brightly colored to attract the insect pollinators. Pollination. Will study. I'll tell you. Wait. So what happened? Why they are brightly colored? Because they are attracting the insects on them. So insects are coming and honeybees are coming. They are taking the nectar from the flowers. So how they are helping in the pollination? That we will study. So calyx and corolla, these two parts are non-essential parts, means they are not directly involved in reproduction. Indirectly means they are attracting the insect pollinators, but directly they are not involved in the reproduction. So which part are involved in the reproduction? That are two parts, androecium and gynoecium. So androecium is collection of stamens. I've already explained you in the diagram. It is the male reproductive organ of the flower, and each stamen consists of anther and filament. I told you that on the top, that is one lobule is there, that is called anther, and down to that one stalk is there, that is called filament. And what is produced in anther? Anther में क्या बनता है? Pollen grains. So pollen grains are made inside the pollen sacs present in anther. Anther को जो आप cut करोगे, so you can see partitions. 4 partitions will be there that are called pollen sacs. अलग-अलग sacs बने होते हैं, and inside that pollen grains are produced. And each pollen grain produces 2 male gametes. ये प्रोसेस हम पढ़ेंगे जब प्रोसेस हम फर्टिलाइजेशन की पढ़ेंगे. Okay, so each pollen grain produces 2 male gametes produce करता है when it is producing pollen tube when it lands on the stigma of the flower. Okay, so next is gynoecium. Gynoecium is the collection of carpels. Carpel is a female reproductive organ of the flower, and each carpel, I told you, it is divided into 3 parts: stigma, style, and ovary. So each carpel has a terminal stigma, long style, and swollen ovary. So stigma का function क्या है? Stigma receives the pollen grains during pollination. जब pollination process होती है, so stigma के ऊपर pollen grains आके land करते हैं, and then it grows further inside. The style bears the stigma in suitable positions to receive pollen grains. So you can see here in the diagram, जो ये style, जो stigma का जो structure है, the stigma of the structure is such that it is providing a platform to land pollen grains on that. So pollen grain यहाँ पे आके land करते हैं stigma के ऊपर. Okay, and then it grows further. Further जो है, जब pollen grains यहाँ पे आके land करते हैं, then they start germinating. They produce one pollen tube जो inside जाती है, and then they enter the ovary part जहाँ पे female egg होता है. So then how this process is done, we have to study. So I'm telling you that stigma is in suitable position. ऐसी position में stigma होता है that it is ready to receive pollen grains and also provide passage for the pollen tube which grows inside. And the ovary is the swollen and the hollow basal part. उसमें ovules होते हैं. Ovary के अंदर क्या होते हैं? Ovules. और ovule के अंदर होता है female gamete. Each ovule has an embryo sac that bears a haploid egg, the female gamete. अब जो प्लांट के जो डीएनए होते हैं दैट आर आल्सो डिफरेंट. जैसे ह्यूमन डीएनए में 46 क्रोमोसोम्स होते हैं, तो जो प्लांट के डीएनए होते हैं उनमें अलग अलग नंबर ऑफ क्रोमोसोम्स होते हैं. ठीक है, बट दे शुड आल्सो बी हैप्लॉइड. उनमें भी सेम प्रोसेस जाएगी कि दे शुड नॉट बी डबलिंग ऑफ द अमाउंट ऑफ डीएनए. सो दैट्स व्हाई इट हैज टू बी हैप्लॉइड एग. द फीमेल गैमेट इज ऑलवेज हैप्लॉइड. Then in plants, The fusion of male gamete and the female gamete takes place inside the embryo sac located in the ovule. I'll tell you. So before that, we have to study the types of pollination. Pollination क्या होता है? Pollination is the main process which is responsible for the reproduction in plants. That is the transfer of pollen grains from the opened anther. Opened anther means anther तभी open होगा जब वो mature होता है. Anther is the male reproductive part which contain pollen grains. अब anther जब mature होता है तो then it burst, वो अपने आप burst हो जाता है and it release the pollen grains. उसके ऊपर सारे pollen grains ऐसे spread हो जाते हैं and then by some agents like wind, water, insects, birds, ये सारे जो है they act as agents and then they transfer the pollen grains from the anther to the stigma of the flower. So then this process starts. So pollination is the transfer of the pollen grains from the opened anther of the stamen to the stigma of the carpel. Carpel is the female reproductive part, stamen is the male reproductive part. So the transfer of pollen grains from the opened anther of the stamen to the stigma of the carpel is called pollination, and the common agents responsible for successful pollination are wind, जैसे हवा blow करती है, so the blowing wind can take the pollen grains with them and they can land the pollen grains on some stigma of the flower. So that is the initial, the first step of sexual reproduction in plants is the transfer of the pollen grains from the anther to the stigma of the flower. So it can be done by some agents like wind, water, insects, birds and many other living organisms. And there are two types of pollination. दो type की pollination होती है. This is important. It is asked in the examination sometimes. Two types of pollination is there: self-pollination and cross-pollination. Very simple to understand. Self-pollination means, you know, pollination. Pollination means transfer of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma of the flower. Now it can happen in the same plant or the different plant also. अगर pollination same plant में हो रही है, same plant के same flower में या अलग flower में, that is called self-pollination. Self-pollination means transfer of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma of the same flower or another flower of the same plant. या तो सेम फ्लावर में हो जाएगी, यू नो दैट वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट बाइसेक्सुअल फ्लावर्स. बाइसेक्सुअल फ्लावर्स मींस जिसमें मेल एंड फीमेल पार्ट दोनों ही प्रेजेंट हैं, ठीक है. तो सेम फ्लावर के एंथर में से पोलन ग्रेन ट्रांसफर कर सकते हैं. यू सी इन दिस डायग्राम, सी. So self pollination means, for example, we have this flower. So इस flower में you know that this center part is the female part, okay, and these stamens are the male reproductive parts. So from here the pollen grains can transfer from the anther of the stamen to the stigma of the pistil of the same flower. अगर वो एक ही flower में pollination हो रही है, that is called self pollination. And if there is a transfer of pollen grains from the anther of one flower to the stigma of another flower of another plant, ये same plant में नहीं है, सेम प्लांट में हो रही है, दैट इज कॉल्ड सेल्फ पॉलिनेशन. अगर एक प्लांट के पोलन ग्रेन्स एंथर में से उड़ के दूसरे प्लांट के ऊपर जो स्टिग्मा के ऊपर लैंड करेंगे, दैट इज कॉल्ड क्रॉस पॉलिनेशन. एंड इट इज ऑल्सो इम्पोर्टेंट दैट द अदर प्लांट शुड बी ऑफ द सेम स्पीशीज. ये नहीं है कि दूसरी कोई स्पीशीज के ऊपर लैंड कर गया, देन इट विल नॉट जर्मिनेट. So same species is also important. So I hope it's clear. It is very easy. Self pollination is the transfer of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma of the same flower or another flower of the same plant. अगर एक ही plant में हो रही है, that is called self pollination. Cross pollination means transfer of pollen grains from the flower of one plant to the stigma of another plant of the same species. ठीक है, इसमें सेम स्पीशीज होना जरूरी है. सो दैट इज कॉल्ड सेल्फ एंड क्रॉस पॉलिनेशन. नाउ व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस? दिस इज आल्सो इंपॉर्टेंट. डिफरेंस बिटवीन सेल्फ एंड क्रॉस पॉलिनेशन. As I've told you, self pollination is transfer of pollen grains from anther to the stigma of the same flower. Cross pollination means transfer of pollen grains from the anther of one flower to the stigma of another flower. Here two plants should be there. Here only one plant is required. And in self pollination, it does not require any external agency for the transfer of pollen grains. क्योंकि एक ही प्लांट में हो रहा है, एक ही फ्लावर में हो रहा है. इट हैपेंस जब एंथर मेच्योर करते हैं, सो पोलन ग्रेन्स बर्स्ट कर देते हैं, एंड पोलन ग्रेन्स कैन इटसेल्फ फॉल ऑन द स्टिग्मा ऑफ द कार्पेल. वो अपने आप फॉल कर जाते हैं स्टिग्मा के ऊपर, एंड देन द प्रोसेस कैन स्टार्ट. So it does not require any external agency, but cross pollination may it requires an external agency for the transfer of pollen grains because it is taking place between two plants. So isme external agency is required. Now in self pollination, such bisexual flowers, I have told you the meaning of unisexual and bisexual. Bisexual flowers means which contains both male and female reproductive parts in one flower only. So such bisexual flowers produce small number of pollen grains. So ये बहुत कम pollen grains produce करते हैं because they know that the female part is also present in the flower only. So small pollen grains are present, they can fall on the stigma of the same flower. But such flowers, these cross pollination happens. Cross pollination can happen in bisexual and unisexual also. Okay, so such flowers, they produce large number of pollen grains. So large number of pollen grains because they are providing they are getting the nourishment of the female part also. So that's why they are producing large number of pollen grains, because which has to be carried to another plant. Then self pollination does not bring variation. So obviously because एक ही प्लांट में पॉलिनेशन हो रही है, एक ही प्लांट के पोलन ग्रेन्स उसी प्लांट के स्टिग्मा पे जा रहे हैं. सो जो फ्रूट बनेगा, जो न्यू सीड बनेगी, दैट विल बी ऑफ द सेम मदर प्लांट. उसमें कोई चेंजेस नहीं आएंगे, वो सीड में कोई वेरिएंट नहीं आएगा, बिकॉज ओनली वन फ्लावर, वन प्लांट इज इन्वॉल्व. बट हियर in this brings about large number of variations कि अगर एक प्लांट के पोलन ग्रेन किसी दूसरे प्लांट के स्टिग्मा के ऊपर जाके लैंड कर रहे हैं, so there will be variations because pollen grains different flower के हैं and stigma different plant का है. So this is the difference in self pollination and cross pollination. So now fertilization in plants. So just the process is left. It is on page 135. Last paragraph is there. आफ्टर फर्टिलाइजेशन क्या होता है. सो व्हाट हैपन, पॉलिनेशन हो गई. सो पॉलिनेशन से क्या हुआ, पॉलन ग्रेन्स आके लैंड करके स्टिग्मा के ऊपर. आफ्टर दैट व्हाट विल हैपन, कैसे वो नीचे ओवरी में जो फीमेल एग है दैट इज प्रेजेंट इनसाइड द ओव्यूल, तो वो वहां पे कैसे पहुंच रहा है, उसके बाद जो फ्यूजन हो रही है, हाउ इट इज प्रोड्यूसिंग, एंड फ्रूट कैसे बन रहा है, कौन सा पार्ट जो है फ्रूट बन रहा है, कौन सा पार्ट सीड बन रहा है, और सीड के अंदर जो एम्ब्रियो डेवलप होता है, व्हाट इट इज. So that part is left. We are left with less than 1 minute that we can cover in the next part. So please go through this part. It is on page number 134. I will share the slides. So very important, everything I have provided in the slides. No need to go for any extra information. I will share some questions also from this part. But please go